table. So today we're gonna have us a little story time as I prepare one of my most proudest dishes as a chef. So tonight I'm going to show you all how I prepare my pinto bean hummus with Cowboy caviar and fried green tomatoes dish. So before we get started, let me show y'all what we have over here. Okay, so as y'all can see, we have our green tomato, we have our green peppers and red onions already diced up, ready for the Cowboy caviar. We have some buttermilk and a nice blend of seasoned flour, breadcrumbs, and panko breadcrumbs because we want to make sure we have a lot of texture on our fried green tomatoes. We have our black eyed peas and our pinto beans that's still in its juices because we need all that juice or most of that juice for the flavor and to give us a nice texture in our hummus. All right, so y'all see the ingredients that we have to make the dish. So now it's time to get into the story. So I graduated from culinary school at the age of 24. And the first time outside of my culinary showcase that I presented like myself as a chef was in 2016. And from that experience, so I'm young. So at that point, I believe I was 25. So the first time I ever presented myself as a chef was actually at an event that I did myself, which was my first ever ball. So at that ball, the menu that I created, it was a good menu, especially as like me being so young. But with that menu and my first time introducing myself as a chef and my style of cooking, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get negative feedback, but I did get personal criticism because I did a flank steak. And now I told y'all, I'm fresh out of culinary school. So I'm the proper way to cook a flank steak, that's how I'm gonna give you the flank steak. If you don't like a mid-rare or a medium well or a medium steak, you're probably not gonna like you didn't like the way I gave it to you. It could have been too bloody for you. Well, I'm not gonna say bloody because that's not blood, but it could have been too red for you. So like I said, it wasn't negative feedback, but it was just personal preference type things. So of course there's a learning curve that you have to learn as a chef, and you just gotta, to be honest, I feel like that type of stuff kind of comes with how you feel about yourself as a chef. I mean, I feel like it also depends on what type of establishment you're working into. But anyway, so from there I got that feedback kind of was okay, well, that kind of put an imprint on me to where it was the stuff that I learned, the stuff that I was taught, I felt like I had to adjust it to please people based off of their preferences, which you do have to do as a chef. But when it comes to the creativity side of it, it did kind of ignite I'm not gonna say a fear. Well, no, we can say a fear. It ignited a fear in me to kind of at that time I didn't know it, but I kind of backed off from giving people meat. I kind of gave people what they wanted. So that means the dishes that I created, they weren't really true to who I wanted to be as a chef. And I really wasn't taking any risks either. So that's how my first experience was of presenting myself as a chef. So it kind of I kind of put myself in a box based off of the opinions that I heard of others. And because of that, I kind of had to like go on like this journey of, and that journey really came from my balls of finding my confidence in myself as a chef, to not be afraid to give people me and not giving people what they want. I mean, I feel like one of the best things about food, especially the people who create food or the ones who like to cook, it is a great way to tell about yourself. Whenever you cook a dish for anybody, that's literally what you're doing. You're giving them insight into who you are or whatnot. And for me, like I said, 24, you still kind of trying to figure out your own self at that age. So when you start to put in like your talents and your gifts into it, it can make it a little bit even more challenging, if we're going to be honest, right? So therefore, over the years, I just really had to, like I said, find my confidence to not be afraid to take the risk that I really did want to take in food. And of course, it came, and I just really had to not be afraid to like, okay, I know this is what y'all want, but this is what I'm gonna give y'all. And that's what the balls when it comes to the food is about for me. It's not giving people what they want, it's me giving them what I want to give them. Because like I said, when it comes to food for me, I want you to feel something when you eat my food. Like, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, like I want you to have a feeling that you remember. Because for me personally, I can remember the best food I ever had in my life, and I can remember the worst food I had in my life. I can tell you the place, location, and everything where I was at for both or whatnot. And so I do feel like that is part of the experience that you get from food, and that's what I like to do with my foods. So when it came to this dish, this was like, I knew I wanted to make this dish, but I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was afraid to make this dish, because along your journey, you start to learn what, like, especially like my clientele, what they liked and what they didn't like. And let me tell you something. They did not like beans. They did not like stuff that they did not know what it was. And I'm not gonna say everybody, because I definitely have an adventurous crew, but everybody is not adventurous when it comes to food. And that is what I want my food to be all about, like adventurous. And so with this dish, it was like I took 2 different types of beans and I put them together. Then I put a tomato with it. And I was like, I said, one thing I know how to do is I know how to develop great flavor. It was just a matter of, are these flavors going to marry together? So I practiced this dish several times. And every time I let someone try it, I was afraid every time. Because people's taste buds are so subjective. So it's like one person can like it, but that don't mean another person will. So everybody who tried it though, luckily, I do feel like it was a testament to my talent. So I'm not gonna say luckily, but I was, every time I presented it, I was afraid. But it was a dish because, like I said, I took stuff that the regular normal person, I'm not gonna say regular normal, but like I said, based off of my clientele, I knew they weren't eating beans. Like, cause I've done beans before, and people were a little nervous. They were a little nervous, But I always say, trust me, baby, I got you. I ain't gonna steer you wrong. So when I rolled this out at the ball, it was like the dish that, of course, I was nervous to present, but I was proud to present it, because for one, it was 100% me. Like, when I think about just my own self, I'm a complex person. Like, I have many layers to me, and I also got a lot of flavor too. But anyways, that's what that dish represented. It was like a full illustration of me. And so I was very proud of it. And it was, for me, it was just very different. And I have created dishes before that I am like very proud of still to this day. And I have created cohesive menus that I am very proud of. But this dish itself, I just felt like it took my confidence to say like, I'm Chef Brittney. Because for the longest, I feel like there's a lot of things that you have to do to earn the title of chef personally. And although I went to culinary school, I personally didn't feel like that gave me the title of chef. And so when I created this dish, for me, it was kind of like my becoming moment to where I didn't need anybody to validate me as giving me the title of chef. Like, my validation of myself was enough. And so when I created this dish, and then like I said, this dish was the hit for all my vegetarians out there, because this is a vegetarian dish. There is no meat whatsoever. Even down to my beans, I use no meat and no seasoning meat or nothing. Completely vegetarian. So when I rolled it out and it was a hit, it solidified what I thought. And then like I said, to take people who do not even like certain elements that was composed within this dish and to hear their feedback, it was just like, from here on out, do not be afraid to give people you, and don't feel like you need permission from anybody to basically let my own light shine. So, because when it came to this dish, it was a lot of things I said I would never do as a chef. Like, because everybody always kept asking me like, oh, would you ever do Top Chef? Would you ever do a cookie competition? And I will always say no, because that's a different type of stress. And to me, that's the stress that takes the fun out of cooking. And that's why I always said I would never do it. Now, what I will say though, I still would never probably do. I'm never gonna say never. I've learned to never say never. But do I have an interest in wanting to do a cooking competition? No, I don't. But because my confidence level it's like not in the same place that it was 10 years ago, and I have a totally different confidence. Like I feel like I believe in the dishes that I'm making. I feel like I have created a lot of things that are not your typical dishes, to where it's like, oh, okay, I feel like I kind of got some stripes on me, to where I would entertain it, because I feel like now I have enough arsenals in my bag that if I need to pull them out for a competition, like I do have that. To where before I created this dish, I had some arsenals in my bag, but this one for me was just kind of like, all right, me saying to myself, I see you, girl, Okay, so I made my pinto bean hummus. I blended it up off camera because you weren't gonna be able to hear me talk, no way. And I went on and I fried my fried green tomatoes. Separate those so they don't get soggy. So, and now it's time to plate, y'all. So, let's move this out the way for you. Overall, what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, of course, sometimes you gotta go on the journey to become who you're supposed to come. That is like a given. Make sure, but most importantly, moral of the story is, especially as we're in this new year, don't be afraid to let your light shine. don't be afraid to give the world you, because sometimes the things we are afraid of is what the world needs, and sometimes the world just may need you. So don't be afraid, and don't let the opinions of others stifle your own growth. Like, everybody's always gonna have an opinion. One thing, you're never gonna be able to please everybody. So if you know you can't please everybody, at least please yourself. And that's the overall moral of this story. It's the journey that I had to go on, and it had to start for me at a young age to learn. But it's a journey I'm so appreciative to because I think it has made me better overall. I know one thing. I wish I had a little more beans for my personal liking. So, and did I serve it like this at the ball? This is a bigger plated version. Now, who gonna help me eat all this? That is a great question. Because although I have not ate lunch and it's too early for dinner, I know I ain't gonna be able to eat all this. And then, just for a little razzle dazzle, you know, I normally use microgreens, but you know, they don't really be having those at the regular grocery store. Get my culinary utensils. I usually don't cook in my house. All right, y'all, so that is the end of me showing you all one of my arsenal dishes, one of the dishes that I am very proud of, and just showing you all telling you all the story of how I had to really establish and build my confidence as a chef, and what that journey a part of what that journey looked like for me. But it's no better time than to eat and try the plate now, right? But like always, like, comment, and make sure you subscribe. That's another thing. This is definitely a dish. You have to put it all together and try. Very, very good. I see y'all next time. Boom. What the kids say? I don't know if they still say this, but they still say bussin'. It was bussin'. But I'm gonna bring my friends to the table because y'all might think I'm biased.